What kind of property would you like to buy? What is your budget? Hey, what's up you guys? Lukas here from excelwealth.com. In this video today, I want to talk about the steps, each step that I take before I go and purchase a property that I could rent off to somebody else and make my money, of course, off. Investing in real estate is not going to make you a millionaire to start out with. Now, on paper, it does make you a millionaire, maybe if you have 10 of these properties. But then again, of course, in practice, you're not a millionaire right away because you've got a load of debt. Good debt, of course, but the debt is not going to generate you money like boom, you gotta have, tens of thousands of dollars every month or week coming in. It's not like that, okay? So investing your money in real estate is more like, instead of leaving your money on the bank, you're putting it somewhere, you're investing it in something tangible, and you're investing in a property, and the property will generate money for you. And that's with a return of investment for at least somewhere between 8 to maybe 14%. That's what you would like with real estate. And this is why I purchase real estate to invest my money in. Step one of this guide is very important, of course. You need to have money. You need to have money. If you don't have any money, then what would you like to invest with, right? You do need to have a certain amount of money for a down payment. And in most cases, what you tend to see, I don't know about your country, please let me know down below in the comments what country you're from, but in the country that I'm from, here in the Netherlands, and I tend to buy in 3 places. I tend to buy in the Netherlands, I tend to buy in the US, and I buy in the UK. So there are 3 places that I tend to, well, 3 places, actually 3 countries, so right? So I tend to buy in 3 countries I buy my real estate. Now, each country has their different kinds of rules, of course, but in most cases, what you always tend to see, the amount of money that you need to have as a down payment is somewhere between 20 to 30%. Now, why is there a difference between 20 and 30%? Isn't that always the same? No, depending on kind of property that you buy, and of course, in the amount of experience that you have. But in my case, for example, I own multiple properties already in different countries, I always have to do a down payment of 20% because the bank already trusts and believes that I'm doing a great job and I'm actually doing a great business here. So the bank just says, hey, Lukas, you're doing a great job. You know what? Here's 80% of the down payment. Here's 80% of the money. So the very first thing that you need to have, of course, is money, because in the end, you got to see it like this. It's, again, of course, it is making money, but you got to see it like this. You're investing your money in something. You make a choice. Where do I leave my money to let it grow over time? Okay, so that's the very most important thing that you got to remember. It's not that you can buy property for completely free. You always have to put a down payment on something before you can actually buy it. And even if you reappraise it after fixing it, packaging it up, you still gotta put money down up front first. It always works like that, okay? So it's not about, it's not about you're putting no money down and with just a word, I'm gonna buy this property, I'm gonna pay you back, Mr. Bank. It doesn't work like that, okay? So you still have to put a down payment down, buy the property, get it fixed or patched up, and then of course you can then a reappraisal and refinancing, then get money back, okay? So that just works like that. Okay, so you always need money. Money is always upfront. So it is about investing your money, making a choice where do you invest your money in. The next step that you have to understand is your credit score. If your credit score is not going so well, you can even have money on your bank account. You can even have $50,000 straight away in cash, liquid on your bank account. But if you don't have a good credit score, what the bank will just say to you is, hey, mister, I get that you have money right now, but how do we know that you're going to pay us back because your credit score is just crap? So the important thing is, even if you have money, be sure to have your credit score at a certain level that the bank will still say, you know what, although you're doing a great job and you have liquid cash on your bank account, here's some money. Your credit score should be good. If your credit score is not good, banks will not loan you any money. No lender will take they will take out their wallet to say, you know what, here's some money. Let's go do some business with that. Step number 3. Let's go to step number 3. The moment you got to take money out of the bank, the moment you take money out of the lender, depending who your party is, always be sure to know if the party is ready to give you some money. How long does it take? The moment you apply for the money, when do you get your money? Now, in most cases, when you take a look at the bank, it always takes somewhere around 8 weeks for the money to arrive. So don't make any choices, don't make any promises to the seller that you're going to buy the home, that you're going to buy the property within that 8 weeks time. It's very important. So this is what I tend to do, since there are a lot of properties out there, but not always the best ones that meet up my requirements. So what I tend to do is, instead of telling the seller, you know what, I'm going to buy your home in 8 weeks, I always tend to tell these people, you know what, I want your home, and I'm going to sign an agreement with you that I'm going to buy your property for this set amount of money. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to buy the property in 6 months from now, which is 4 months more. That's actually 4 months more than I actually need to get the money. Now, you might be thinking, why do you do that? Well, that has a very clear choice, but I'll get to that in a bit. But for now, I always set the date further ahead in the future, because that'll give me advantage at a later point. The moment I want to buy more properties, I can get one financing arrangement 6 months from now. In between, if I tend to find more deals, I will finance it in one moment. It'll be the best choice the moment we get to the step of the escrow, but that'll be something that I'll get to in a later bit. Step number 3, of course, is your loan. Where'd you get your loan from? How long does it take? Which is a very important step. So know all the ins and outs of the person that you get the loan from. That may be a bank, that may be a person, that may be an organization. Always be sure to know when your money is ready for you to purchase and to use on your property. Now, step number 4 is the properties. What kind of property are you going to buy? What kind of property would you like to have in your portfolio? You got to really understand and see it like this, because in the end, you're buying this property as an investment for your own money. You're leaving your money in that property that you see over there. Like, okay, you know what? Every time I drive by that property, I could say, that one is mine. Now, this is why you should always think about, what kind of property would you like to buy? What is your budget? Where do you want your property to be? Because location is everything. Also, see it like this. You're investing your money. You're leaving your money in a property for a certain while. Now, my clients, my students always tend to say, Lucas, but I'm buying the property to keep forever. And I'm saying, yeah, but the moment you die, it's not yours anymore. You can't take the property into your grave. So what you're doing, you're using the property maybe for your lifetime, but the location is everything, because the property is going to live longer, most likely, than you. So the property that you're going to buy, that you're going to purchase using the money, is going to be there for as long as you're going to keep it. And I'll even tell you this, just the other month, I just sold off one of my properties. I sold it off because one of my tenants said, Lucas, I love living here. Can I buy the property from you? And I'm like, sure, but you do know that the prices have risen in this crisis time. And the person said, yes, I do, and I'm very aware of that, but I love the house so much that I would prefer to buy it from you than to stay here and rent it from you, because I know that I'm going to stay here the rest of my life, at least as long as I can see. That's how good these people are, and looking into the future, saying, I'm going to live here my whole life. Okay, but the properties, everything about the property. I'll shoot a new video for this about all the properties, because if I would talk about this, it would be an hour video, and we don't really want that, okay? So step number 4, be sure to check out the properties. What properties would you like to have? What is your budget? And everything around that, of course. There's one more thing about the properties that I would like to share with you, is never buy the lowest end and never buy the highest end. We want to be in between. And we really take a look at this. It's always like this. You've got 2.5% on each end. Most people are in this area, of course. What is that? That is, of course, the middle class. And this is why we should serve the middle class if you want to make money using your properties. Okay? This is why you shouldn't buy the lower end, because those are the poor people. You don't want to buy the higher end, because those are the rich people. They don't need you anymore. You want to buy for the middle class. make it very comfortable for the middle class. The middle class people should think, you know what? I would like to spend some money here and I would like to live here. Make use of the middle class. Step number 5 is all about cash flow. And I will shoot a separate video about cash flow for you because that's a video about Excel sheets and I'm going to show you what is so important about cash flow. You should never buy a property that starts break even. Never. You might be thinking, really? Not even break even? No. Your property should be making profit from day one for you. If it's not making any profit from day number 1, yes, I get it that there are real estate agents out there who would say to you like, you know what? You should buy this property today. And yes, the first year you might be doing break even, but hey, you're getting equity gain over time, you know, that's what you want to get. And properties grow about 5% per year in equity. So you're getting a 5% equity already. So that means, hey, there's your 5% return on investment. I'll tell you this, if I don't see any positive cash flow in the first year, it's not a good deal. It's not a good deal. It's not a good deal if there's no positive cash flow. You should always have positive cash flow from day number 1. And yes, I get it if you don't have any tenants yet in the first month, that doesn't have to be negative cash flow. You should always participate for vacancies. Now I always say this too, you know, this is what I always tell my students, my clients. I tell them like, you know, hey, with 10 months of occupancy, you should be able to get a profit already. The extra 2 months per year are extra profit. If you can't make a profit on 10 months a year, you're doing something wrong. The cash flow is not correct. Now don't worry about the cash flow video. I will shoot a cash flow video with all the details in. I'll even show you details of my own properties in the Netherlands, in the US, in the UK. I'll just show you so you can see the numbers of how I done it and how I get my 8 to 15% per year on return on investment. Step number 6 is all about the homes. What do I mean by homes? Because the first step is about money. You need to have money. The second thing is always be sure to have a credit score. Number 3 is be sure to know where do you get your money from and do these people have the money ready for you. Number 4 is taking a look at these properties. Now I always tell my students be sure to scan a whole area on properties. What are the properties? Get to know your references. Be sure to know what is your reference, how much money does it cost to buy a certain property. Then of course be sure to calculate the cash flow of a certain property. Now step number 6 is checking out the homes. Interesting properties are the properties that are slightly older. So don't try to buy the newest homes because most likely the newest homes, you know, they are rated AA+, which is very great if you want to buy and live in it for yourself. But the homes that you buy, you want to invest in, you want to let other people live in it, you don't really have to care about the energy label. It's good, of course, if there's a lot of competition. This is why you should check out the properties on the internet. You should do your research well and be sure if there's no other competition, then of course buying other homes, older homes, then you have a great opportunity to buying a great investment. And yet, you know, the homes that are online quite a while already, like for example 6 months or so, and they're not selling yet, there's a reason why people are not selling off these homes yet. There's a reason why people can't sell their homes. There's a reason for it. And it's for you to find out why. It's very important. Always be sure to check out older homes because there's always something wrong with the home, and yet fixing doesn't cost that much. I'll show you one of the pictures of one of the homes that I bought. It's appraised for 200,000 euros. But I got it for a little bit over 100,000. Now how did I do that? So how did I buy a property that is valued at 200,000 that I bought it for 120,000 euros? How did I do that? Because there was so much wrong with the home. I'll tell you this, they had 2 bedrooms, but one of the rooms was used for I don't know what. Bathroom, completely molded. What did I do? I just renovated the bathroom for I think like 2,000 euros, which wasn't very expensive, but I removed all the mold, completely put a new ceiling in it, put some new bathtub and furniture in it. All of a sudden, the house looks amazing. And after the repairs, reappraised it, all of a sudden, got the money back from the bank. So be sure to check out the older homes. Sometimes there's something wrong. Those are the good deals that you can get. Location of this property was good. It's a good location. The home was slightly older, but the inside, the interior was horrible. Your job, if you want to buy real estate, is to look for these gold packages wrapped around, I don't know. This is gold wrapped around with mud and sand and dirt and all kinds of stuff that you don't really want to touch when you're kind of looking for gold. And the cool part is, there's more gold out there than you really think. But you got to do your research really well. Now, currently, I've got a great location for this property. Step number 7 is to make an offer. The moment you've seen your homes, the moment you know the cash flow is good, the moment you know that the property is in a good location, and you know that the moment you put your money in, it's a good investment, you're not going to lose any money, you know that you're going to get a positive cash flow, you know that you're going to get your loan, everything is up in line. Now your job is to make an offer. Now I'll tell you this, you can always talk to your real estate agent. And your real estate agent is your middleman, is the person who negotiates with the seller. Now you gotta see it like this, the seller has actually hired the real estate agent. But if you're an investor in properties, then this real estate agent knows that if you do a great deal today, this person might come back again. So this is why, although the real estate agent is hired by the seller, the real estate agent wants to see you come back more often. And this is why you can find out if the real estate agent is somebody you can trust. Because it's not only about the offer. It's not only about saying like, you know what, I see that the property is trying to be sold for 150,000. Now the value of this property could be 200, but we're not going to sell it off for 150 because there's so much wrong with this property. Now, what I tend to do is I talk to these real estate agents, is I call them up at random times of the day. You know why? Because I want to find out if these real estate agents are always ready for me. You can find out right away if this real estate agent picks up their phone after the second ring, saying like, hey Lukas, good to hear you, man. If he's happy to see you, if he picks up the phone every time again, this guy is genuine. He wants you to buy the property. But there's also a reason why. Because he wants to do business with you more often than only once. So, let's see if he talks. And I always ask my real estate agent, so tell me, what is the best price the seller wants to sell his house for? Give me the best price. And they'll tell you more if you've won their trust. If you can make these people trust in you, that you're going to do business with them more often, they'll give you a fair price. If they tell you, no, it's just the price that it is, and it's going to be like this. If they close the door on you before the conversation starts, well, maybe this person doesn't want to do any business. But if this person is open for conversation, and so are you, well, maybe there's a better offer. And this is what my real estate agent did. He said to me, Lukas, now this guy wants to sell off his home, but the home is too old and there are too many things that are broken that needs to be fixed. But he wanted to set up the price of 150,000. Actually, I think it was 152 or so, but I can't remember the exact price. Okay, so it was set up at 150,000. Now, my real estate agent said this home has been on the market for more than 2 years already. Now, this guy wants to sell his home, but he can't find a buyer. And I said, okay, how much discount could he give? And this guy said, you know what? If you offer 115,000. I think we could get it up to 120,000. So that means you got to pay 5,000 extra, and we'll be able to sell this property off for 120,000. And that's what we did. I called the real estate agent again. I said, you know what? I want to put an offer of 115,000 euros. That's what the real estate agent said to the seller, saying like, you know what? We've got one person interested in more than 2 years' time that the home is being offered on the market. So, you know, you could get 5,000 extra. That's how we can bargain a little bit extra. And that's what the real estate agent did for me. And all of a sudden, I got a bargain. I bought a property for 120,000, fixed it up for not even 10,000 euros. And I reappraised it for almost 200,000, getting a 150,000 refinance, which is a great deal. And this is how you should know if your real estate agent is your man or not. Step number 8. Step number 8 is about escrow. You got to understand all the costs around an escrow agreement. If you don't understand that, because next to your offer, let's pretend that you're offering, just like me, you're offering 120,000. Well, the escrow agreement, all the costs around escrow, for example, a solicitor, arranging the finances, this is at least 1% of the purchase price of the property. If you do not calculate the escrow cost, then you might be getting a wrong loan. Your loan might be too low, and all of a sudden you got to pull your own wallet again, because of the property of 120,000, all of a sudden you might have to pay like $2,000 or $3,000 of escrow costs. Now there's a reason why I buy property 6 months ahead of time. Why? Because the escrow costs will not increase if I have either one property to buy or 4 properties to buy in one time. This is why it's so important, why I always say, you know what, I only buy once or twice per year. Because I don't want to make a lot of unnecessary escrow costs. And yes, I get it, 1% over each property is still 1%. But the solicitor charges you money for each time you come to the public notary office, which is totally fine, of course. But if I only go there once a year, I only need to pay once for all the properties that the solicitor needs to register, which is a very important thing, because hey, that's again, maybe $1,000 per property. If I have 4 on one day, or 4 times and once every time, then yeah, that's gonna be a difference in money as well. It's money that you don't have to pay for if you just buy once or twice a year. This is why you gotta understand the escrow cost as well. Now, step number 9, I'm actually stepping to this side. Step number 9 is the moment you've purchased your property, always renovate it. No matter how good or how fancy the property is, there is always something wrong with the property. Wrong is maybe a hard word, but it's more like there's always something to renovate. So there's always something to patch up. Maybe it's the floor, maybe it's the wall. Those are the minor things. The moment you patch up the property, all of a sudden the price of the property can rise right away. And this is how you can actually make money off your property as well. This is why I always say renovate your property. And then of course, step number 10, which is the last step in this whole guide, is of course rented to tenants. Now, that'll be a different video as well, because finding your best tenant, how do you know that your tenant is not gonna destroy your whole home? Which is very important, but that'll be a different video as well. Be sure to always do a tenant check. Always do that. Check, for example, like you gotta check if they have the money to pay you every month. It's very important. Do they have pets, for example? Would they like to have pets? Now, if they're not a married couple yet, who do you rent it to? Do you rent it to the man or the woman, or if it's 2 males or 2 females? Then, but who do you rent it to? Who do you rent your property to? What happens if they break up, right? Those are all kinds of things that you need to keep in mind when you're renting it to. But that's going to be a different video as well. And the moment you rent it out, what happens is you have happy people living in your home, because that's what you want in the end. It's not about the highest price that you make. It's not about being the cheapest. Like I said, you want to be in the middle class. You want to be those people, and you want to be out there for them, helping those families out. And then of course, you've got happy people living in your homes for many, many years to come. And that's it. This is what the 10 steps that you should be doing, of course, when you want to be investing in real estate. Step number 1, be sure to have money. Step number 2, be sure to have a good credit score. Step number 3, be sure to know where your money is and where your money comes from, of course. Step number 4 is be sure to check out all the properties that you would like to have. Do your own research. Step number 5, always know that there is a positive cash flow coming out of that property. Step number 6, be sure to check out the homes themselves. The moment you know, go there. At least go check 10 properties. I always say 10 properties. If you haven't seen 10 properties yet in that area, how do you know? What do you even know about references, right? Step number 7, be sure to do an offer and always talk to a real estate agent, because that's your person, that's your man or woman. Step number 8, of course, be sure there are more costs to the property than just buying the property itself. Step number 9, always think, hey, I always have to have money left to renovate the place. And of course, step number 10, be sure to rent it to people. Who is your audience? Okay, and that's about it for today. Thank you very much for watching today's video. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet because you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to be notified every time a new video comes out, be sure to hit that notification bell as well. Thank you very much for watching today's video, of course. And hey, happy investing, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.